All right. Hey, how's everyone doing? Let me grab. Okay, I want to make sure. Okay, there it is. All right. Close all these. Get my musical example ready. I don't like this tone. I'm going to change the tone, but I'm going to keep that one. Maybe if I can't get a better one. Let me start. Duplicate, and then, so I'm in Guitar Rig 6, which is the latest iteration of Guitar Rig. Let's see, what do I want? I'm looking for a preset, basically. Let me see what this is, basic AC30 kind of thing. Pretty close. I got a tune. Let me grab my tuner. Hopefully I didn't leave this tuner on. The snarks just eat up the batteries. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I'm out of tune. All right. How's everyone doing? Anyone there? Oh, we got people there already. Sorry. There we go. All right. Hey, Paul, good morning. Is it, did I mess up? Is it 250? Because I changed it from 248 to 249. I'll change it to 250, and maybe the previous one I should change to 249. Okay. And we'll play a game. You know, we'll play the guess the song game. Let's see. I have the Wikipedia page for the song up, so it's a big enough song that it's got its own Wikipedia page. I'm just reading about it a little bit. I'm going to start giving you clues here in a minute, but I want to just say hello to everybody, and then we'll. This is number 6, and I've been alternating. So the first clue is it's an electric tune. I've been alternating. Oh, and also the fact that I've got an electric guitar in my hand is probably your second clue. So I've been trying to alternate acoustic electric, and I had one picked up for today, and I changed it. I may save that one for later. I don't know. Part of the reason was I've been really busy, and the weekend was really busy. And usually, you know, I put off prepping for today until Sunday or something, you know, and I was like, oh, shoot, I got to do something for you guys. So I changed the song, and I want to say it's an easy song, but it's, well, I'm going to give you more clues here in a second. See, get some people here. I want to say some hi, shout outs. So I said, hey, Paul, Bob Schumann, good to see you. Holly and Dennis and Bruce. I got all three of my moderators here. Let's see. Oh, Larry Byrne, good to see you. And John, good, awesome to see you too. So you can, and this can be played on acoustic. Doesn't have to be played on electric. Hey, Renee, good to see you. Lena, awesome, yay. And then once I have, in fact, let me open up the Discord. No, not Discogs, Discord. Although it's going to beep as soon as I open it, so I'm going to have to open another word. Okay. So as soon as I reveal, I'll drag the image, the JPEG or whatever. It's actually a ping. I'll drag it over to the Discord so you can have it. Oh, and let me post the Discord link. Mad Musician Magician. Hey, how's it going? Wait. Mad Musician Magician. That's not. Is that Andrew Gerard? Because that would describe you. Let's see. What was I gonna? Oh, I was gonna grab the Discord thing. Okay, so let me put the Discord link up so you can join the group, and I'll pin it. So here's that. and pinning. Yeah, and Hotel California is actually a good one. And you know, it's so funny because when I first learned it, I didn't know it was capoed at the seventh fret. That's a pretty high place to capo. You know, that's pretty high. You're like, wow, capoed way up there. But that the 12-string part is played up there. Nobody else is capoed, just the 12-string. And you can play it on 6-string, classical, whatever. But the chord names are right. So the shapes look wrong on Hotel California right here. It's like, wait, that's not B minor. That's not a G. That's a C. But see, the little thing says capo 7th fret. That's the important part. And I'm always trying to get you to memorize the chord names in the right, their actual names. It serves a lot of purposes. But I don't need you to memorize every position up and down the fret. Just when you have a song that uses a capo at the 3rd fret, then learn those. And then 6 months later, when you learn a song with a capo at the 1st fret, learn those shit. You don't need to learn them all in one sitting because you won't use it. If you won't remember it if you don't use it. So if it's something you're going to use, like if you're going to play Hotel California, I mean, in a lot of ways, and this is last week's lesson, a lot of ways that does look like a B minor chord. If you imagine your first finger doing what the capo is doing, well, yeah, that's F minor, G minor, A minor, B minor. So you can kind of, you know, the F sharp 7 you might not think of that as F sharp 7 or this is A2, but you might think of this as an E chord, okay? You probably wouldn't think of that as a G chord because you don't normally play that bar chord, or this one is a D, but you can definitely, you know, see it. And it also, seeing it this way also aids hugely in starting to visualize the neck with the cage method. Tim Pierce did a video better than the cage method, yes, a couple days ago, and I've got to watch it. I don't know what he was talking about, so I'm curious what he had to say. Oh, interesting. Someone on Discord had the capo. Well, were they transposing it up so they could sing it higher? Was it too? I mean, they were trying to get it in a different key. Because definitely those licks are played at the 7th fret. But all right, let's see. Oh, Dr. Geraldine missed that one. Oh, there you go. Hey, what's going on? Have you been on before? I think you're familiar, but welcome. Welcome. We're just kind of chit-chatting right now for a second. So we've done 5 songs so far. We did, the first week was Free Falling. I think I fixed all this. Then we did Dazed and Confused, which was a pretty easy electric song. I mean, it's a song so easy I would consider teaching it to a first lesson student. If they were into Zeppelin, it's a perfect song. It's very simple, and it's the thing I like about it is it's chromatic, so it's actually a song that uses all 4 fingers. I would also teach. It's kind of like this is like an exercise, you know, Peter Gunn. Then you've got Hide Your Love Away, which was an acoustic song. We did 6/8, basic chords, but some interesting chords that John Lennon did, particularly his descending line was new even for me. I never play D over C this way, but it makes complete sense because normally I would play. Now you got an open G string, and that's not really a D over C. That's like a C 9th with a sharp 11. So it's kind of like, yeah, John didn't want this. He wanted this, and so he played that. And you know, and John also, I've been trying to find videos. I saw him and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then later I thought, oh, I should do a video on that voicing. And then I can't find those videos anymore. But John will often play a D chord like this and an E chord like this with the open strings live with the Beatles. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Thanks for the coffee. They raised my coffee price. What is it? They raised it 30 cents. That's 10%, which you knew was going to happen, right? I was watching oil prices last night. I saw them spike at 130. Like, oh my gosh. There's some speculators who are going to lose some money, but that's a new record because I think the previous record in 2007 was 127 a barrel. And that was when I was starting to predict the housing crash because I said, the housing prices were crazy. People are buying houses out in the suburbs and they were overbuilding and stuff like in Riverside and then driving into LA. And I'm like, how are they going to afford their mortgage if they got to fill their tank with gas? And because my thinking was, you got to fill your tank with gas to go to work to pay your mortgage. So there's a priority there. And I thought, that's going to really hurt people that live in the suburbs. And some friends of mine bought 4 houses in the Tucson and Phoenix area, like 2 and 2, in the suburbs. And part of the problem was they saw those house prices with California eyes. They're like, they were only like $340,000, and it's 6-bedroom houses. They're just and they lost everything. So because people just stopped paying their mortgage because the house prices started crashing. So yeah, carpooling. Yeah, my commute is well, basically from there to here. so I used to put more miles on my car, and now it's like 3,000 or 4,000 miles a year on my car. Just nothing. We're thinking about getting Beth a hybrid, but right now car prices are kind of crazy. So hey, Sco, what's going on? Hey, Steve Barry, good to see you. My knees hurt, man. Okay, so the Eagles didn't flag it. They didn't do that. Then we did Roxanne, because I'm not playing the recording ever. All right, it's me playing I'm playing this and talking over it and teaching it and stuff. Clearly a fair use thing. I still don't know, because they've allowed me, and I can check them right now. Let me check real quick. They've allowed me to monetize every one of those. I get a notification or a little thing saying you can't monetize. It's not a punishment. It just means they get the money, not me. And it also means they're probably going to put 72 ads in there, where I will sometimes go back and put one every 30 minutes, because I'll teach for 2 hours. So I might as well make something off these videos. Typically off these live videos, and I've always been really honest about these live streams, maybe make $3 or $4. If it gets up to 1,000 plays, content. Here we go. Sorry, I'm kind of slow this morning. Still waking up. Sorry, I was a little late. So yeah, monetization on for all of these still. So far so good. The thing that triggers it if you play the song, and that's what Rick Beato does, and that's why he doesn't get to monetize, or so many of those. What makes this song great? Hey, Larry. What makes this? Art Bloomer's in the house too. Charlie B. Boy, we got everybody. How many do we have on? 31. Well, not bad. Nice. Everybody's here. Okay. So last week's song was Hotel California. So you can go back and learn it. That's great. And they're a great reference. You can go back and kind of brush them up and everything. Yeah. If you capo at the second fret, you can play it in A minor. Yeah, exactly. But you can clearly hear that note in there. You can hear those high notes in there. That's how I knew it was capoed up. I don't even remember looking at him. Oh, we got a bot already. We're early for. Hey, Pepper Jackie's in that. Boy, Sam is in the house. We got a lot of, and I haven't even talked about the song yet. So the mystery song number 6, it is on electric. Okay, I'm going to give you a fairly big clue. Well, no, not a big clue. This is because it's a 2-chord song. All right. That's why I think it's fairly easy. Charlie B's in the house too. Chad Lloyd's in the house. Man, we got everybody here. Aslan's in the house. Holy cow. We should just hang out. So it's got 2 chords. All right. It's from the 70s. Kind of, all the good guitar songs, are going to be 60s, 70s, 80s. 90s. Yeah, I mean, definitely we could do a Nirvana tune. We may do a Nirvana tune. We haven't done a tune yet, have we, that has a tuning? We haven't had to change tune. I'm thinking about at some point teaching Dear Prudence. That one's a tough one. I worked through it. I was like, oh yeah, this is how I was trying to remember how it goes. And I go, okay, it's got a few sections and a couple things. If it was just a matter of teaching you the main riff from Dear Prudence, then I would probably, we could totally do it. It's kind of it's a Travis pattern. People play it wrong a lot of times, but generally they start every first note is the 5th string. I'm pretty sure. So it's like, so it goes. And John wrote this one, and notice how he's playing the D over C thing. It's just a great. It just feels good in the hands. It's kind of fun. But notice the first note is that A string, not the low D string. He may alternate that a little bit because they played it live, obviously, but he probably played it a million times. No, it's a perfect fifth. Seventh fret is perfect fifth from the open E string. Oh, that one was just drop D. So Dear Prudence is just drop D. So that was D, A, D, G, B, E. Standard. Everything on top is standard. I just did a video on drop D. I think was it my last video? No, hold on. Content. Two videos ago. So here's that. Get shareable link. Oyo como va. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, that's not it's a 2-chord song, isn't it? Yeah. No, this will be easier than that one, I think. Well, yeah, this one. I'm trying to make sure these are songs. If we look at all these songs, it's not like we're playing at the song. We're not just kind of strumming the chords that are the song. I'm trying to teach you what they actually played. Okay, I'm to my best ability. I may be wrong on some of these things, and I'm sure people are going to come along and go, "Well, that's not really how he played it." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever, you know." But it sounds like it. So with Roxanne. Okay, I'll give you another clue. Here's another clue. There's my tone. Okay, I'll give you another clue. It's in the key of A. I'm going to tune again. Sounds a little funky. And that's not the best tone. I'm going to change my tone, I think. Something's not right. It's in the key of A, but it doesn't play an A chord. And it's a 2-chord song. All right? So it's in the key of A, but it doesn't ever play A. All right, so I'm just messing with you right now. All right? I probably should get to it, right? Because we're already 9:25 here in Los Angeles. Beautiful downtown Los. No, I'm not in downtown. I'm in the burbs. Okay. It's a 2-chord song, and it's a 1-riff song. So it's 1 riff all the way through the song. And it's one you could totally play at a campfire, but I don't know if everybody would know the words. And it was did it chart? Let me look. Hold on. Let's see. Where did I? Okay, it was released on February 15th, 1974. Breathe? No. Feeling all right? No. Glam. Okay, it's kind of a glam rock song. That should be a big clue. Let's see. Okay. Where? I'm not sure if it charted. Well, let's see. It reached number 5 on the UK. Oh, number 64 in the US. Number 5 in the UK. Well, that tells you another thing. So it's a UK artist. Yes, it's over 50. It's over 50 years old. Oh, no, 74. So it's 48 years old. Oh, you play that one all right. Feeling all right? Yeah, that's a good song. Tulsa Time. Tulsa Time's a good 2-chord song. Did I do it? It's not. I've done 3 2-chord videos, 5 songs with 2 chords videos. Actually, one of them is one of my most popular videos. The other 2 can't even track. I don't understand it. It's like, what? Why did one just get? It's like someone promoted it somewhere, and I don't know. And if you're a member of guitar forums or something like that, like Acoustic Guitar Forum or different, you can always post my links to my videos. Hey, Peroni. Okay, so now what I'm going to do I've given you pretty much all the clues I can give you without giving you the artist name. I'm going to put the lick up there without the name of the song on it, and you play through it and see who can be the first to tell me what it is. Now, some of you, I've got the music. I wrote it out. Music and tab. Oh, let's see. I don't know. I'm going to write mystery 6 on this because I put the name of the song in the file. All right. Okay, now we're to the point where if you can read this, either the tab or the... So you see the 2 chords, D and E. We've got 2 chords, D and E. There's the riff. First one does, nope, not Thin Lizzy. Alan Woods, we still haven't started the song yet. So, but good guess, Renee. That would be a good, Thin Lizzy has some good riff songs. Definitely good riff songs. This is not an artist normally known for riff songs. I've changed guitars twice, you're right. So we can take 2 sips. It's one of our drinking game rules. If I switch guitars, you take a sip. I picked up the acoustic, the Dove, to play Dear Prudence, which we may do in the future. But that's a pretty long song, you know. It's like, I mean, it's got enough changes in it. It's like, okay, I got to keep moving. This one we can sit on for a while. Take a Walk on the Wild Side. No, but that's a good song. This is the whole song pretty much. Oh, can I make it bigger? Oh, okay, sure. Hold on a second. There you go. So there's the, what song is this? Kind of like this. It's kind of fun. I could do that with, I could have done that with all of these songs, really. Put them so that they're, you know, put without the name on them, and then, I don't know, did I put the name on the last one? No. So I could have thrown that up there, and you could all been taking guesses at it. That would have been fun. I may do that from now on. Take a Walk on the Wild Side is not a bad guess, though, Bob. All right. Somebody's got to make a guess. I'll play it. As soon as I play it, you'll know it. Most of you will, anyway. Feeling Groovy. Paul Simon. Simon and Garfunkel, technically. Neil Simon's a playwright. I don't wonder if they're related. Paul Simon and Neil Simon? I bet you they are. So often that's the case. Let's see. Hangnail. So it's got that open D string to start, and then there's a slide, and notice it's 2 E's. You're the worst with song titles. Well, but if you get the art, there we go. Steve Barry got it. Oh man, yeah. That's it. It's so if you wanted to you could start with the riff. If you're singing at a campfire, you can start with the riff, and then you could just go to E and D or D and E while everybody's singing. But you can always just stay on the riff because it's the whole song, except for at one point it's like. And you could just hit the E string by itself. But I'm pretty sure I'm hearing 2 E's. Okay? Yeah, it's glam. It's glam rock. Yeah, David Bowie's glam rock, Collie. And it's actually one of the first glam rock songs of all time. Rebel Rebel was considered glam rock. Pretty much everything Bowie did was glam rock. So many songs. Yeah, it was kind of Rebel Rebel was Bowie's last single in his signature glam rock. So originally it was planned to be part of the Ziggy Stardust musical, but all right. So in this thing, I got okay. There we go. All right. So I can make this bigger, I think, or I could chop it in half too, and then put the two halves up in separate files. You could do that. That might make more sense. Let me do that. Let me go over here, duplicate, and then I'll just cut it in half, and then that way I can stack them. All right, save, and then now do the second half. But if you're looking for a fun song, it's a fun song. It's like, you know, four snares. It's a good live song. It's pretty easy lyric-wise. All right, so let me go ahead and let me remove this. And I just created this, so where is it? This is that, okay. So here's the first half. This way I can make it a little bit bigger, because I can stack them up on top of each other. And then here's the second half of the riff. There we go, like this, right? Does that help? That makes it bigger to see, because you're gonna need to see my hands here. All right. Okay, now I can put edit mystery song number Rebel. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, your guess wasn't glam. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I said glam rock fairly early, but not early enough. Yeah, glam rock's a very niche. I mean, Gary Glitter, David Bowie, name some glam rock. Sweet, that's a great. I loved Sweet. They never got as big, but Ballroom Blitz is a fun song. And then what's their other hit? Sweet had a. Let's see, Sweet. What was that song I really liked? The Sweet. Oh, glam rock, yeah. Oh, I click on that. I could click on that link. Yeah, bubblegum. It was kind of bubblegummy. Definitely bubblegum. But yeah. Bay City Rollers definitely skewed that way too. Ballroom Blitz. Fox on the Run. I loved Fox on the Run. That's a great song. Fox on the Run. I just felt like it really built really nicely into the chorus. It's one of those things. So if I click on glam rock, let's see who else they name. Oh yeah, Bowie, Mott the Hoople, Sweet. See, Sweet's part of that. Slade, Mud, Roxy Music, Gary Glitter. It's a very small. Queen maybe. Elton John, Rod Stewart. Yeah, not really. I mean, those aren't really listed as glam rock. But oh, sorry. John White. Tom, would Rebel Rebel be a good song for a beginner or immediate? Oh yeah, sure. I think so. I mean, you can imply the song with two chords. So if you, like I said, if you want to, you know, you may not be able to get the riff. And that low E string is going to be optional. It's there. You could, you know. You could simplify it a little bit by getting rid of that low E, because that's kind of the hardest note to hit. The low E is generally muted, which also makes it kind of hard, because if you let the low E ring out, excuse me, morning phlegm. If you let the low E string ring out, it's gonna make it harder to hear the high notes. It's gonna cause distortions and overtones that are gonna create. It just the clarity goes away when you have try to do that with distortion. Part of it's my distorted tone is not great right now. I'm not digging this tone. Let me try another one. Yeah, I don't want too big a sound. What's this one sound like? Yeah, I like this one better. This is Guitar Rig 6, and it's called Chicago Crunch. It's not bad. Just I needed gain. I need some gain for this song. Okay, so let's talk about the mechanics of the song. The chords are basically D. And I can tell those are the chords because that's what the bass player is doing. He's just playing D and E. It's that simple. D and E are the 4 and the 5 of the key of E. So A. We're technically in the key of A, but we never. If you were to end this song, I think it fades out. I can't remember. Hey, barada ba 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 ba. So if you were to end the song on a chord, you would probably end on an E chord. Okay, and so that would put it in. You could say the song's in E mixolydian. But the interesting thing is too, you can also think like you can think of it as a D Lydian if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. Analyzing that aspect of it isn't going to help you at all. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to hit that open D string. All right. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to tune your E string. You're going to do. If you just do your tuning notes, your 5th fret on the 2nd string and the open E string, that's the start of the lick. We can do this several ways. You don't have to slide through. Okay? You don't have to necessarily slide up to it. I like the slide. I think the slide gives you a little momentum. The slide gives you a little more energy, a little more excitement, and I think I'm hearing it, but not necessarily every time. And the slide also allows you to get from this open position up to technically the 2nd position or 3rd position, because if our third finger is assigned the 5th fret, then technically our 1st finger would be assigned the 3rd fret. So we would call that 3rd position. So when you see something, someone says, "Oh, you're in 3rd position," that means you put your 1st finger here, and all the other fingers should line up. 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger. You might have to reach out with the 4th finger to get another fret, but generally that's going to be called 3rd position. We're only there for one beat. So it's not really, I would consider this an open position song for the most part. You could play it with just the E string. Okay? Another thing that happens, so we got that unison. What's happening, one of the things I love about this song is you've got this descending drone thing. One of my favorite songs growing up was I'm Not Your Stepping Stone by the Monkees, okay? And that one was basically you could say it's kind of in the key of E, or that's the chord it would land on. But I'm Not Your Stepping Stone is E major, G major, A major, C major. So it has no key center, really. It's just what it is, okay? You don't need to overanalyze things like that. So, Dennis, what's going on? Oh, is Dennis... Dennis is busy. Oh, wait. There's an A and a B in the bridge? I don't want to listen to it now. Did I miss the bridge? Hold on a second. I have to... Well, we're not gonna. If there's a bridge and there's an A and a B, my. Oh yeah, you know what? I know it goes. Okay, but I was talking about I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. One of the things I really like about Not Your Stepping Stone is the vocal harmony, and it's kind of I call it you could call it kind of a drone harmony. There's parallel, there's contrary movement harmonies, and there's static harmonies where one singer sits on a note and the other singers move, and that's what's happening. Right? That's one thing, but then the others are. And that's just a cool, that's just a really cool little riff. Excuse me. Jan, where's Jan? Oh, hey, Jan. Good to see you. Morning. And so that you can actually play that just by, you know. And what you're doing is you're hearing how different different intervals react to each other. So here we have unison, then we have a major second, then we have a minor third, and then we have a major third, and then we have a perfect fourth. Well, Rebel Rebel's similar. It's got that unison, then it has the major second, which has a kind of a flutter to it when you play it, which you're only on it for a second, but it's got a nice flutter to it because the overtones of the notes are kind of interacting with each other. So, yeah, the Monkees, it's just a fun song, isn't it, Sam? So let's see. Let me pull up, you said Ultimate Guitar. Let's see. Oh, weird. Yeah, this says there's an A in it. Where's the A? Oh, they put you down. They say I'm wrong. Okay. Well, I'll show you that in a second. Okay. We know. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Dang it. Okay. Well, that's all right. The main thing right now is the riff. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm not going to write it out because it's not critical. I mean, I'll show it to you. But all right. But basically, it's a riff song. One riff song, two chord song for the most part. This is probably Joseph. It's probably why I didn't include this in one of my songs with two chords because I got to the bridge and went, oh shoot, because it's hard to find those two chord songs. You think, oh, it's a two chord song, and then you get to the bridge, you're like, oh man, they added one more chord. Shoot, I want two chords, not three. There are some one chord songs. You could almost, well, no, because the bass movement on this makes it a definite two chord song. You could almost play E all the way through there and make it work, but it still sounds better to go. That sounds like the song. Again, so you could, in a campfire situation, just play that to get it going, and once everybody's singing, don't worry about the riff. Start. Okay. Oh, you tried to copy and paste the bridge, Sam? That's all right. I'll get to it. It was. So it's just D to A to D, B minor to G to E, and I'll write those chords out here down here when we get to it. Okay, so we've got this cool thing where again I'm not just teaching you how to play songs. I'm teaching you about theory, guitar technique, maybe guitar tones sometimes, and so the kind of the appeal to this riff is that drone E and those notes going against it. You could do the Beatles. That's another song where the one singer is singing the E note and the other singer is singing the descending line. So you have this static motion, or this. There's another term for it. Yes, that's no. I wouldn't call that a chorus. He's saying, rebel, 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 rebel. That's the chorus. That's the bridge. The A to the. I think it only does it once, which was why I didn't catch it when it was going by, because I was I was listening to it, and I listened to it a couple times, and I missed it both times because I was working on other things. Hey, Colin, what's going on? Good to see you. Where are you located, Colin? With a name like that, I'm guessing Scotland. Could be wrong, but I'm guessing it sounds Scottish. Okay, so we have this D, and then the tuning note, which you can slide into. Practice that. So I'm hitting two strings, the top two strings, and I'm sliding from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the 2nd string with that E string open. That's a tough technique because you've got to arch that. You've really got to arch that. How can I show it? There you go. You got to arch that 3rd finger so that you don't mute the 1st string. We don't want that. We want to hear that dissonance. I want to hear that. You hear that the flutter because of the overtones. And then you go to the 2nd fret, and then you hit top two strings open twice. Okay? And the rhythm on that, it starts out, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at that point, we're playing the and of 4, the and of 1, the and of 2, and then we're to a string of 8th notes. All right? So let's go to that. Let's go to the rhythm of this lick. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Clap with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and that you want to get that rhythm figure into your head. And I'm talking and doing it at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and years of teaching allows me to do that. 2, 3. I love not just having the tab, because if you just saw the tab on that, you would have no idea of the rhythm. If you just saw the tab, you might play it like this. Oh, let's see. You wouldn't know that the first two notes of the E bar are on the and of the beat, not on the downbeat, right? Without the music notation above, and you can see those little rests there. Those things that look like 7, the one right under the E, and then the one underneath the bar there. Those things that look like 7s are 8th note rests. Okay? So again, the rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 and 4 and. So I can show you the 1 and 2s here. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? Oh yeah, the box. Yeah, if I showed this on the same thing with the box, if I were just to show you grids, I would have to do a different grid for each one of these. It would take, it would be a mess. It would take a lot of work, and I'm too lazy, so that ain't gonna happen. Okay, so that again, if you can get that far, the first bar, you're almost there. But the rhythm part is actually I think the rhythm part is almost the most difficult part. The most difficult part is hitting that low E string before going to the riff. Hitting this note. Okay, that's the hardest part. Okay, so again, the D string, slide up to the E tuning thing, then go back down. So we're literally in 3rd position for one note. Okay, that's pretty much the best way to play it. Even if you don't slide up, you might go. You could do that, okay? So if you don't do the slide, or even if you do, like slide. It's dealer choice. It doesn't really matter. There's no sonic difference between sliding up and then coming back down to play the D, C sharp, and the B. Okay, it makes no difference than going to the first. Like that. So let's try that. 1, 3, 4, 1. You can do it either way. 3, 4. And notice I'm muting the strings after I hit those open top 2 strings. You can mute them with your right hand. Try that. Or you can mute them with your left hand. Okay, doesn't really matter. But you want that space. You don't hear this. You don't really hear that. There's a little bit of space in there. Which I think lends to the kind of the momentum and the excitement of the song to have that space, which is really cool. And the drums are the drums are, and it kind of makes space for the drums because the drums are really hitting the downbeat, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty solid there. And the bass player is just kind of playing D's and E's, so pretty simple there. But to give it that space is a really good thing. 3, we can even practice that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's pretty fast. Shoot. Pretty good tempo. So you're going to have to kind of get it down and then get it down slow and then pick it up. That's always the best way to learn something. Be able to play it at a slower tempo without making mistakes, and then add to that tempo. You can download I think it's called Tempo on iPhone, and I think I paid for this. It might have been $5 or something. The reason I paid for it was so I could save tempos. You can't see it. There you go. You can kind of see it if I turn it like that. You turn it like that, it just whites out. But there's a lot of free metronomes. And you can kind of start out at one tempo, a slower tempo, 80 beats per minute or whatever, I don't know. Get it down. Once you make it, maybe do it 10 times in a row without making a mistake. Then bump it up to 82, 83, 84, 85, whatever, and try to get it so you can do it 10 times in a row without making a mistake, and then bump it up. And that's how you get faster, by playing slower. You hear it all the time. It's just like you've gotta be able to do something without making a mistake, and then you pick up the tempo. Okay, yeah, the muting is important. Exactly, Ollie. Okay, so we've got the open D, and I'm muting the D string. I think you could let the D string ring out, right? Yeah, and it's interesting because I would have never done this lick over a D chord. That is so much an E chord lick, which again, that's why I said you could think of this song as just being like, you could really think of the song as being D over E to E, D over E to E. You could almost think of it as that because this is such an E lick. It's just it's very E-centric. But to play it over the D, if he'd played it over E, it would have been, oh, okay, whatever, it's a blues song. But to have the D in the bass and then play that lick, that's what makes this riff stand out, and probably what gave it radio play, because people were like, oh, that's different. And, it may have been an accident. Oftentimes these kind of things are accidents. So, oh yeah. Do I have likes? I got likes. I have 20 likes. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. So we have the D string, which you can let ring out. Because with this sound, with the gain like this is, that D's going to kind of fade out. It's not as overwhelming as that low E. But then you do want to mute everything at that point, okay? So let's try to get that D and then the slide. So you can get that. 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. Okay? 4. Let's go down. 1. 1. So what I'm hitting is I'm hitting the D string, open, and then I'm sliding up to the 5th fret on the 2nd string with this open string, with the E string on top open, which means you kind of have to arch. You can't lay that 3rd finger down. It's got to kind of come at the string from the above, and just don't. You can totally test it. Hit both strings individually to see if you're hitting it. You don't want. You want that E string to ring out. You want that. It's just nasty sounding, which is great. It's what you want. Okay, see if we can get that far. D, slide up, down, 2nd fret, open. Okay, and that was not in time, not in the rhythm. 3, 4. 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. Oh, let me change the mystery song. Let me put the name here. I guess this way. All right. There we go. So people know what we're talking about now. Bowie. So we're doing a Bowie song. Likes and shares. Oh yeah, now I see 31 likes. That's weird. Well, maybe because Sam said something. Smash that like button. All right. Let's see. So we got that D string. 3, 4. 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. You could also play it this way for if you want to do it that. So I'm going from my 3rd finger to my 1st finger and then slide my 1st finger down. Because you got those 2 open, top 2 strings open twice. You got those 2 hits to get your hand back in position for this. Okay? And that's a great lick. That's the last 4 notes are great because it's just it's like this C6. Like, that's just so cool. That G sharp there. So now at that moment you hit the G sharp, you know you're not at, like, well, it's not in D major, you know? I mean, that low E kind of is a clue also, and the bass player's going to E. So you get plenty of clues that this note belongs. But it's a little, over the D, it's that tritone, but it's a sharp. It's a Lydian thing, which, you know, I love. It's just, Lydian is such a cool sound. Lydian is such a cool sound, but at this point we're really not in D Lydian, we're more in E Mixolydian, but I don't want to get, you know, it won't be a quiz on this. Everybody take a celebratory sip. I'm not going to quiz you on E Lydian and I'm sorry, E Mixolydian and D Lydian, except Sam. Sam is going to get a quiz later, and he better pass. Hey, Avito, what's going on? Yeah, isn't it? It's just that dissonance. When you got a little bit of distortion, not too much distortion, but a little bit, you hit that. It's just that, you get that flutter. I don't know if any of you have any gain up right now, but it's a great tool for that. I mean, it's a great byproduct of that interval. Okay. Okay, now let's try this E lick, starting with a low E, and then so it's going to be 1, 2. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Just hit the low string. 2, 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, that's the placement. It's on the and of 3. 1, 2. Now, there's a lot of ways you can mute that low E string and not let it ring out. You can let it ring out. You're gonna create with distortion on an acoustic guitar. It's not gonna be an issue. On a clean sound, it's not gonna be an issue. But with distorted sound, it's gonna be. It's just those notes are not gonna come out as strong. I need to listen to it again to see how if he let that ring out. He may have. No, it's short. It almost feels like. I remember because I was like going, oh, do I need to teach this note? It almost feels like accidental, but he does it almost every time. So I'm almost muting it to begin with, so it doesn't ring out. I'm kind of hitting it with the palm of my hand touching the string. But I don't want to mute. I don't want to mute that. I just want to mute that bottom string. You can practice that too. No quiz. Hey, Jim Clay, North Carolina. What's going on? Can we have that? Yes. With a guitar scream? Yes. Yeah, good luck on that. Good luck on the quiz, Sam. All right. These double stops. Oh, I'm tempted to add the G string tones double stops. Well, Larry Byrne, my side says 3944. Okay. Oh, we're getting up there. Wow, we got 40 people. Hey, everybody. So we're learning Rebel Rebel by David Bowie, 1974, February, I think, of 74 it was released, and number 5 in the UK and number 64 in the US. So a lot of, everybody knows it because it became kind of a glam rock anthem of sorts. It's a great song if you got a band, and it's a super simple song. It's one riff almost all the way through. There is a bridge that I totally forgot about, but I'll show you the bridge chords here in a second. It's just playing through. It's just like A, D. And at one point, or at least twice, he goes, does that. Okay, and I'll show you that. And it's just going to the D chord to the E chord, but then it hits that kind of E blues lick, kind of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of thing almost. And I think is it on an 8th note or is it on a 16th note? Yeah, it's like a 16th note. It's like right up against beat 4. 1, 2, 3, it's right before beat 4. 1, 2, 3, It's like you got to sneak it in right before beat 4. So it's a very, almost like whenever I think of 16th note syncopations where there's a 16th note by itself or something starts on a off of the 1 or the and, it's on the E or the I always think of horn section. Like horn section is always 1, 2, 3, da 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 da, like that kind of stuff. That's what I feel like. 2, and you go. Okay, so let's try to piece together this last lick. Let's get the pull on last 4 notes: C sharp, open B, G sharp, and then D, E, which leads us perfectly down to the D. Love this lick. I'm not sure which makes this song, if it's the or the. So to have two licks that you're going, oh man, that's cool. That's double barrel shotgun right there, man, and it's just perfect. It's a great song. Super simple. Like I said, you could start out the riff, and then at a campfire, and then once everybody knows what song you're playing, just go with it. Just start banging out D's and E chords, and when you get to that bridge, I'll show you those chords. How do you know a note was picked or hammered on? I can just tell. You could pick it. He might pick it up some. I mean, I'd have to pull it up again. I've always played it that way, which tells me that's probably what I initially heard. But you can play it without the hammer on, but or without the pull off. I think a lot of ways. In fact, you could almost pull off that last note to the first note. You might. That actually almost sounds right to me. So you could almost go, okay, I'm going to pull off that E note to that D note. All right, you could do that too. So again, I've been really busy, and I was like, okay, I literally sat down in my chair right there where I have my laptop and I'm working on these kind of things for you guys. And I was getting ready to do this, and I got like 6 texts like right in a row. And from the Taboo, from the Black Eyed Peas, he sent me a song he wanted me to come up with a guitar part for. So I'm like, okay. So I go to my computer and I spend the next couple hours on that. And that was after already working all day. So I was looking forward to sitting over there and doing this for you guys. So I apologize if I'm missing a couple things, but my recollection of playing this lick for years is that it's pulled off. Okay, and we're gonna work on that now. We're gonna play that C sharp second finger and pull off. And when you say pull off, I always say this. It's more like you're pulling down. Okay, you're plucking the string. So, in other words, if I just put my second finger on the C sharp there, second fret, second string, right? Put your second finger, second fret, second string. Okay? 2, 2, 2. If you put it there, and I don't pluck it, you should be able to generate that open B string by just pulling the string down. But you'll notice that I'm muting over here. I don't want to hear this. Okay? We don't want that E string necessarily to ring out. I just want that one note. So I may have to mute that. I'm actually, when I'm pulling off, I'm just really good at pulling off and not hitting the next string. That took a long time. That took a while it took a while to get that kind of thing down where you're not making a lot of noise with other strings, okay? But the lick is second finger, pull off to the open, and then first finger on the G sharp, and then the second finger again on the second fret of the 4th string, which is an E note. We're creating kind of an E6 chord, which, again, don't worry, there won't be a quiz on that. I won't say, hey, play an E6 chord. No, okay? But the 6 is what, here's the most common 6th you're familiar with. I'm going 5, 6 on the top. It's E on the bottom, B, and then I'm going B to C sharp. So it's a very rock and roll thing to go. But he's just coming at it a completely different way. Okay, so again, we're going to hit this. This is beat 3 of the second bar. C sharp, pull off, C sharp, and then second fret of the 4th string. And then if you want, pull off to the D. Totally fine with that. Or you can pluck it. There's something satisfying about getting that down, though. And remember, that C sharp and this E, they have to have an 8th note value. Do not treat them like grace notes. Grace note would be you just like you're on it and off of it really quick. This would be a grace note. That's not what we're playing. It's not. Oh, see. That's not what we want. These are all even notes. Eighth note, eighth note. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just going up. Yeah, I'm not doing a pure alternating. It's not fast enough to even think about. It's not a fast enough lick for me even to think about economy versus alternating. So, because I'm doing all downstrokes there. And because I'm doing a lick that's going this way, I'm starting out, I'm doing all upstrokes pretty much. Yeah. I could do it, I might change it and do it different every time without even realizing, because it's not fast enough to require me to sit down and calculate what's the best way to pick it. And just for reference, if people don't know what the difference between alternating and economy picking, for example, if I were to play like this G triad, economy picking would be down, down, up, down, down, up. I'd be picking, basically always picking in the direction of the next string. Okay, so I'm going down, down, up, down, down, up. Alternate picking would be down, up, down, up, down, up. And the question is, which is faster? And it just depends. A lot of bluegrass players almost strictly use alternating picking. They don't really use economy picking, mainly because they want to keep their hand moving like this. They just want to keep their hand moving. They don't want to change anything in their mechanics of their right hand. So they're, even if they're doing what some of us might do a sweep, they might pick that pure. They probably would never play that, but they would probably pick that in a more pure alternating up, down, or down, up, down, up, down, up kind of fashion. So anyway, that's what Sam was referencing. So so we have that. We can pull off the first note and pull off the last note if we want, or you can just pluck it. I kind of like plucking it because it gives you that solid one. Otherwise, it's kind of limp-wristed there. I guess I'll play a D. Right? This is more like, I mean it. Where's Catherine? Catherine's not here. Otherwise, I would be like all up in her grill because she watches me on a giant, like 900-inch TV. So in her office or something. And so I like to get up in her face. No, I'll have to watch that, Joe, the video of Les Paul and Van Halen talking. I'm sure that's easy to find. I never met Eddie, but I knew a lot of people that knew him because I lived in Pasadena for 35 years, and they were from Pasadena, and they played at backyard parties in Pasadena. I played in some of the same venues in Pasadena that they played at. So it always had signs there that said Van Halen played here back in 1974 or whatever, or 1976 or whatever year it was. I think David Lee Roth's dad was a dentist in Arcadia, which is one city over from Pasadena, one city to the east. So, okay, now let's try to get that. Let's try to get that whole phrase down. I'm breaking this down into phrases too much, maybe, but hit that low E, and then second fret off, first fret, second fret off, open. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And the beauty of hitting that open D string is you got time now to And the beauty of hitting those open E strings, I mean the open E string and the open B string, is you got time to kind of. Once you have this lick down, it's oh nice. Once you have this lick down, you'll just almost play it all the time. Just every time you pick up a guitar, you go. Okay, so that's basically okay. So let's go to the top. Hit the D string, slide up, back down. There's your flutter. Second fret, open, twice. Hit the low E string, and then second finger. Really hard to do this and not knowing where you are. How like, oh, I already got this down, Tom. You're going way too slow for me. Or can you slow down, Tom? Normally it would be. I mean, even if I had you all in a room, I could at least go, okay, you got it. You got it. Okay, I can ignore you. Okay, you need to work on that. Here's how you do that. Okay, so it's tough. But anyway, that's the riff. And so you can take this. Let me. Oh, I said I was going to drag this into Discord. The Discord link is pinned. Join the Discord if you want to have. Let's see. I'm going to Tom's text. No, Tom. Wait, what am I going to? Tom's lesson PDFs. Okay. And I'm going to drag it over here. Where is it? Okay, so Rebel, there it is. Is it riff? All right. So let's talk about that. When they end when he ends the phrase, and he puts a break in there, you know. So let's play D, 4, E. Okay? D, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3. And you can play that G note on beat 4, but ultimately what we want to do is we want to move that over a 16th note. So it's going to be on the 3E and the of 3. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Just get that down, okay? You don't ever really, other than this section of the song, you don't really, in the bridge, you don't really need to be able to play D to E, but you should be able to play D to E without even thinking about it, okay? Oh, 40 likes, yay. Yeah. Can you focus your camera on your fretting hand? I could try. Sorry, what am I rolling up against here? Probably not. So I'm. Get a good look at my right hand too while I do that. And I'm pretty consistent about how I play it, but again, because the tempo is not so insanely fast, I don't really have to think about how to pick it. I just pick it however I pick it, which probably is economy. But the interesting thing is, like, if I were, because of the pull off, if I were not to pull that off, I might, Sam or whoever asked me about it, economy picking, I might play it, if I wasn't pulling off that C sharp to the open B, I might play pure alternating it. So it just depends, because there's a pull off, it gives me my right hand a breather for an eighth note so that I can pick however I want to. It's not as critical. So we're close to 40 likes. I thought I said 40 likes. Oh, can we get to 40 likes? Oh, we got 37 likes. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I had the pool guy so we having our pool like redone. Like I just spent over $10,000 yesterday on my pool. I had to write a big check, and we had to get a new skimmer and skimmer line to the pump. I added a auto filler, so I don't have to fill it anymore, which will save water because sometimes I would put the hose in the pool and forget I did it. And I would literally go, okay, you got to set my alarm on my phone. Go back in the house. As soon as I get in the house, set your alarm for 1 hour and go back and check and see. And I'd get in the house and I'd get a text or a call or something, and I totally forget. I go out there 5 hours later, and the pool's all the way up like this far from the top. I'm like, oh man. So, and then I had all new trim put around it. The way it was done originally was brick, and they used concrete, and you're not supposed to have concrete around a pool like that. It's supposed to be coping and that rubberized cement. And I had, instead of bricks now, I had these bullnose bricks, which are round, and they're expensive, but it looks much more finished. They did a great job. It really did. I mean, we have to fill the pool up this week, so I'm not looking forward to that bill here in Southern California because I've already gotten a warning that I've hit tier 3 and 4, because of my water in my yard, which I'm actually getting drip lines put in next week. So I'm doing my share. I'm trying to get rid of all the leaks in the pool. Oh, thank you, Lena. Lena just paid for 1/1000th of my pool repair. God bless you. Yeah, that's just $10,000. I know. It's like home ownership. The owner of our apartment building that I managed for 25 years, and when he found out we were buying a house, he said, "Well, get ready to get your checkbook out." And I'm like, I know. And the worst part about it, I can't write it off. It's not a write-off on my taxes. So I'm like, oh man, it just stinks. I should just make him an employee and just pay him as an employee and go, yeah, he was helping me with tuning guitars. And I'm going to do some more work on the pool because I only did the coping on the pool's kind of multi-level. It's kind of an interesting pool, but I only did the coping on the lower part where the tiles were falling off because again there was cement between the tiles and the brick, not the way it's ever supposed to be done. And in California we have what's called earthquakes, and every time there was even a 3.5 earthquake within 50 miles, a tile or two would fall off into the pool because the pool would move, but the bricks that it's attached to would not, and then that would cause a tile. So all new tiles around the top, all new everything there. So it'll seal it much better. We had a couple cracks in the pool. We had the drain fixed. We had just a lot of stuff. We had new light put in, a lot of things. So hopefully I won't be filling it up as much. He said his other pools don't need to be filled so much. Yeah. Yeah. No, oh, you flooded out your neighbors. Yeah. Well, in the building in Pasadena, I would often refill the pool and forget. I'm like, oh, dang it. I go out there, there's just water everywhere. I'm like, oh, fortunately it didn't go into people's apartments, but it was just like, I'm an idiot. I had to the point where I would show a lot of people in the building where the shutoff valve was. So if I ever did forget, they would know, oh, Tom forgot, and they'd go shut it off. So yeah, you bought a tile, exactly. Well, you bought a little over a foot of those bullnose bricks. I think they're $8 a foot. So thank you, Lena. God bless you. So yeah, once you get this lick down, so then we got that so you kind of, when you go into that break section, which I remember it doing at least twice. You're going to have to go from this lick to a D chord, okay? You could do a D power chord, which would be just the D string, the G string, and the B string, so 3 strings. You don't necessarily need to go to that F sharp on top. So you could, it looks like I'm playing that F sharp, but I'm not. You can do that. You could do this. you know, you could even go if you want to. I don't know if that would be easy. No. So if you do that, oh, I gotta click. Sorry, I gotta click off the Discord because otherwise. So by the way, I put the riff up there in Discord. So this JPEG in one piece is up on the Discord. So yeah, so when you get out of this lick, you hit that D chord, and you don't have to hit that G note, but it is there both times. So it's like. Okay, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's just almost like you're falling out of your chair when you hit it. It's just. It might be on the and of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it might be on the and. It might not quite be on that 16th note. It might be kind of a swung 8th note or something. It's pretty late in that beat, so you could think of it as 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and all I'm hitting is that one G note by itself. Okay, I'm kind of muting. I'm laying my fingers down here, and kind of muting all the other strings. So if I accidentally hit like 2 or 3 strings, you won't hear them. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And. You push it a little later, it might almost sound like a 16th time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right before the 4, but it's, you know, it's. I don't think there's any science to what he's doing. Okay, now let's just talk about the bridge real quick. Just A. And it probably is just power chords, but I'll write out the full. Here's A. A is nothing on the bottom, then open, 2, 2, 2, open. Okay. Then it goes to D, which is basically nothing, nothing. And then O, 2, 3, 2, like that. And then it goes to B minor, which here's B minor. Here's how you can play a pure full B minor. But you could also probably play B5, which is just a root fifth and a root. And that would be X, 2, 4, 4, XX. And then, E. The E is the last chord. And it's 4 beats of each of these. So it's pretty simple. If that had been the song, it wouldn't have been a hit. The lick makes it, the riff makes it a hit. You gotta have it's a hook. The riff is a hook. You could not, that is totally copyrightable. In fact, I may get flagged on this one because I keep playing the riff over and over again. It is totally copyrightable. Oh yeah, you know what, Holly? I bet you could totally do the top E string open. Because again, that harkens to that E mixolydian or E Lydian. And it kind of harks to that. So yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I wouldn't play a D. Maybe a D2. That's called a D2 chord with the E string open. There's no third in there. You get rid of that F sharp, and technically you don't have a third, so Sam would probably call this oops, I'm sorry, I totally messed up. Let me get rid of that. Remove. Okay. So D2, XX, open, 2, 3, open. Okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, hey, Santrix. Yeah, no, awesome. Yeah, no, I think I had about 70,000 back when the COVID thing happened. And I definitely got a lot of new subscribers through that because everybody was watching that 7 tips for older beginners. I need to do another video, 7 more tips for beginners or older, all beginners, older/all beginners. But Sam would call this D2, no third. Which is what we called it back in the day. Or we might even called it, no, we wouldn't have called it D, might have called it D, no third, add 9. I don't know. But that would be the same name, different name for the same chord. Okay? Right, Sam? So, Sorry. Don't take it personally. I'm not ridiculing you. I'm just like, because you're not the only one that would call me out on stuff like that. Okay. But D2 is for me shorthand, and it's like a real D2 would be like, like. But if you're in the key of A or the key of D or the key of a G, and you write D2, the implication is that people will hear that as a major chord. They won't hear it as a minor chord, so there wouldn't be any mistaking it. If you were in the key of C and I wrote D2, I'd be kind of like, okay, are we implying, is there going to be a third here? So if there's I might write D minor 2, which would be, so, hey, I got a whammy bar for that. You know what? Let that D string ring out. I think the D string. As you get it down, let that D string ring out. It's going to be interesting to see if this song passes the test on the whole copyright thing, because I'm playing the lick so much and it's so iconic. But that is a classic example of a guitar part that's copyrightable. I always say the three things that are truly copyrightable are the melody, lyrics, as long as the lyrics not "I love you," because you can't copyright "I love you." I love you, I love you, I love you. Oh, I copyrighted it. You stole my lyric. No. Within reason, it's going to have to, you're going to have to get a jury or a judge to agree with you. You have to get a judge and maybe a grand jury to agree with you first, then a jury to agree with you second. So, and then the other thing would be riffs. So you're like, well, that's not the melody of the song. That's just a riff. It's like, yeah, you can't use that. You can sample it. Okay, so when I write songs with, artists, when I've got songs, come out on major labels, with Bieber and Benny Main and Miles Wesley and Taboo and different people. One of the things that I have to do is I have to fill out this form saying that everything I created was original. I didn't sample anything, and I didn't play someone else's riff or something. And so I have to sign that. When they people, I kind of got in an argument with, not an argument. People are arguing with me, and they're idiots. But with the Rick Beato video we did this week on the Dua Lipa song, which is interesting. That's going to be an interesting thing because those two songs sound very similar, but the Article sound system, I don't know if you watched that video, but the Dua Lipa song Levitating, which was a big hit just 2 years ago, apparently sounds a lot like this Article sound system. Well, Adam Neely did a great video on it and basically said, yeah, even though that they use the same kind of riff thing and the same keys and the chords and everything, but it's called a Charleston rhythm. Ba 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 3 4 ba 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 ba. But so did Rosa Parks by Outkast from like 98 or 96 or something. And so did, there's a million other songs that use that same rhythm, and that's even that same kind of melody. So Adam Neely says, as it stands, he doesn't think it's a copyright infringement. Whereas Rick Beato kind of came to the conclusion, yeah, this is a little close. But then Alex pointed out, he goes, well, find the song. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, it's not on Spotify. It's not on Apple Music. You can't find that song anywhere. And you can find it on SoundCloud. And it says the release date is March 29th, 2017. But every comment, there's hundreds of comments on it. Every single one of them are dated the last 5 days since the lawsuit was filed. Okay, which means did they just upload it? But it says on it March 29th, 2017, right? So I went to my SoundCloud, which I forgot I even had one. I went to my SoundCloud. I changed the release date of my songs, one of my songs, to March 29th, 2017. And then I clicked on the song, and there it was, release date, March 20th. So I could put 1888 on it. It doesn't, it's not, you can change it. So now the question is this a publicity stunt to try to get, because here's a group, Article Sound System has 20,000 followers on Instagram. That's not very many. Dua Lipa has 60 million. Okay, just to give you a context on that. So I don't know if anybody's seen that. Oh, you're from the UK. See, I knew that, Colin. Yeah, I'm the same. Try to start at 9 o'clock every Monday in Los Angeles, 9 a.m., which I believe is 6 p.m. your time, or is that 5? Are you 8 hours ahead? I know there may be some changes like daylight savings time, stuff like that, but because we have that and you may not. But it's like 8 or 9 hour difference, I think. And I think you got a couple time zones in England too, so it might be depending on where you are in England. So, but the Dua Lipa, it's interesting. So Alex was like speculating that they just uploaded the song, and then because now apparently it was on the streamers, but it was taken down for some reason. So it's really interesting. Oh, you saw that video, yeah. Oh, so 6 my time would be 2 p.m. So yeah, you're 8 hours ahead of me. So yeah, so your time I start at 5 o'clock on Monday. So just a little before dinner time, right when you get home from work, you can sit down and hang out with me for a couple hours. I usually go 2 hours. I've gone 3, mainly because I don't have anyone to talk to. You guys are it. You're my best friends. So that's super interesting. If you were to sample it, but anyway, I was saying, like, I made a comment on it, like, that's really close, and somebody says, really close, it's exact. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And then somebody commented, yeah, it's, I think I think both of the Marvin Gaye estate lawsuits are fraudulent. One against Ed Sheeran, that's ridiculous, and the one against Pharrell and Robin Thicke. And in a lot of, gosh, I mean, Pharrell and Robin Thicke haven't done a whole lot since Blurred Lines. I mean, they have, but Robin Thicke came out with a record that was just trashed shortly after that. But I think it was because he just broke up with his wife, and it was just like the most like annoyingly depressed record or something. Oh, nice. Did you buy like a Les Paul type of Epiphone, Lena? Because the one that Emma did, I think I paid like $80 for this at Guitar Center. It was used, and Emma did and my daughter did the artwork on it. Isn't that dope? It looks like a Beatles cover or something. Very 60s. She did the edges in the back too. You can see "I love you" on it. You see that? I love you. I think there's a cat in there. Yeah, there's a kitty cat in there too. I mean, for her, this was just like stream of consciousness, but really cool. His face right there. Isn't that dope? And this is just, I think I paid $80 for it. It's got soap bars. It's an Epiphone special kind of thing. I have it tuned to high strung, which it's out of tune right now, but high strung is the bottom 4 strings up an octave. So the Robin, we've talked about this, but the Robin Thicke and Pharrell song, they admitted that they listened to the and I forget what the song's called. Somebody knows it. They listened to the Marvin Gaye song when they were recording this song, because they wanted to do a song that was a send-up, a tribute to the Marvin Gaye song. I mean, the similarities are the bass line is played on what's called electric piano bass. I don't know if you ever saw one of those Fender Rhodes basses. Like it's like this. It's a Fender Rhodes is like that. Billy Joel played on Just the Way You Are. The Fender Rhodes, but they came out with a Fender Rhodes bass, which was just like maybe 2 octaves. Really cool. They're kind of hard to find. and they play the bass line on that, which I do sometimes. I'll have the bass line of a song if I'm writing something for TV. Sometimes I'll have it played on a Rhodes or piano or doubled by piano and Rhodes or whatever. That's kind of a kind of R&B thing. I don't know that it was original to the Marvin Gaye song. I don't think it was the first time a bass line was played by a Fender Rhodes. They also had a cowbell. And they had a cowbell figure that was similar to the Marvin Gaye one, but the Marvin Gaye one was one cowbell. Robin Thicke, they had two cowbells, and they were doing different rhythms on either side. I've watched several videos on this comparing them. And then the third thing that was also in the spirit of was a party atmosphere in the background. Okay, that's a great story. I even wrote a treatment. A treatment is like a 2 or 3 page synopsis of a movie idea, and I did a 3-page treatment or 2-page treatment that I was trying to get to Spike Lee because I thought Spike Lee could do a really cool movie on this. Because I had a friend who was working with Spike Lee on something. I was like, "Can you get this to him?" And she wouldn't do it, but I totally understand. It's hard in Hollywood to do that. But when what's her name? Marvin Gaye's singing partner in the '60s. Somebody will jump in here. Oh, nice. 339. Oh, cool. So Hollow Body. That's nice. Alina, you can post a picture in the Discord. We have a tab in our Discord that says guitarists and their guitars, I think, right? Followers with guitars. So you can post it in there if you want. And she died of cancer. What was her name? Somebody tell me. Was it Climb Every Mountain or whatever? They had hits together. Tammy Terrell, was that it? Tammy Terrell. She died of cancer. Broke his heart. He was going to quit music. He was going to quit music, and so when you're doing a movie, when you're writing a script on and I've written many scripts. When you're writing a script on a biography, biographical thing, you can't do their whole lives. The Lutheran Church came out with a movie called Luther, which was about Martin Luther. And Martin Luther is literally the most influential person in the last 1,000 years. You can't name anyone that's more influential, in my opinion, in the last 1,000 years. But they tried to tell his soul life story, and there was nothing compelling about it. It was great to see his life story, but it wasn't that well made of a movie. You need to take a snippet of their life and tell the story. And so this was a perfect story. So when Tammy Terrell died of cancer, Marvin Gaye was going to quit music, and he decided he wanted to be an NFL football player. I kid you not. This is true. 100% true. General chat. Okay, I'm checking it out now. Lena, sorry. General chat. There it is. Okay. Oh man, it's been a while since I checked the general chat. Oh, very cool. It's kind of a silvery gray blue kind of thing. That's beautiful. It's pretty, like like Ali said. And if you join the Discord, maybe use your name from YouTube or say who you are so we know who you are. It's helpful to know who you are. Hey, Steven, how's it going? Tammy Terrell is who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Mary Wells, they probably did songs together too, didn't they? Huh? But Tammy Terrell's the one that he was in love with, and she died and it broke his heart. And so he quit music. He was going to quit music. And he decided he wanted to be an NFL football player. And he did a tryout for the Detroit Lions. Like I said, this is a great story. And the coach of the Detroit Lions didn't know what to do because he wanted to. He didn't want to not tell Marvin Gaye, the king of Motown, that he couldn't be on the football team of Motown, Detroit Lions. But he also didn't want him to get killed. because then everyone in Detroit would hate the coach. So he kind of had the players go a little easy on him, but he did try out. He got to practice with the team essentially, and he became friends with the team. And he obviously didn't make the team, but he became friends with the players. And Alex Karras, who was one of the players, remember Alex Karras from Blazing Saddles, the most politically incorrect movie of all time, and it's still funny. But Blazing Saddles and Alex Karras was Mongo, I think, in it, where he slaps the horse and the horse falls down. And so that's Alex Karras, I think, right? But he only did a little bit of acting. But mainly known, I think he was a defensive tackle or defensive end. I'm not sure. He's basically frontline defense. And but Marvin Gaye became friends with a lot of Detroit Lions, and then he went back into the studio. He didn't get on the team. I don't know what position. I forget what position he was trying out for. I would guess tailback or something. He went into the studio and recorded an album, and it was What's Going On. And the background party people on the song that Pharrell and Robin Thicke are accused of stealing, and what's the name of that song? I forget. That's the Detroit Lions. Like, he had them over to kind of create that party scene. So they actually, some of those guys I think have credit on that record for singing backgrounds where it's just really them and the partying in the background. So it's a really cool story. Oh wow! Well, and here's one of my big aha, I got you kind of moment with the Marvin Gaye lawsuit thing, which totally blew up in my face. Fortunately, I wasn't the lawyer on the case, but the Marvin Gaye estate was saying that the cowbell figure was, or having a cowbell in a song was copyrightable. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing, and they won this lawsuit. But it's the most ridiculous thing because juries are idiots for the most part. I've been on juries, and I know I'm an idiot. Okay, because when I was on a jury, the number one thing I needed to know about, and they spent 2 days talking about it, which drove me insane, was the inertia of freight trains. So here I am trying to learn in 2 days physics and freight train inertia, and in a case, and of course, obviously, after 2 days, I'm not going to be an expert as someone who's been doing it for 40 years of their life. Okay, and that's the same thing with these juries on these. None of them are professional musicians. None of them are record producers, and it's a civil trial, so you only need to get 75% of them to agree with you. So I'm not sure what the final votes were on those things, but I would have voted against all of these because they're, in my opinion, frivolous. And Marvin Gaye's family can go get jobs. They don't need to depend on his money and his work for their livelihood. But anyway, Paper Lion era, exactly, Charlie. That's a great kind of a fun movie. George Plimpton, I love that. Yeah, I love that movie. It's pretty funny. So the cowbell thing, they claimed that the cowbell was a copyrightable thing, the pattern. And the pattern wasn't even the same. So, okay, fine. Even if you want to argue that whatever the pattern was is copyrightable, they didn't steal that pattern. But the fact that they put a cowbell on top of this Fender Rhodes bass line and a party atmosphere in the back and played a song that was in the spirit of, but the melody wasn't the same, the chord progressions weren't the same, the tempo wasn't the same. It was close, but it was in the spirit of. You should be allowed as an artist to create a song in the spirit of someone else and not plagiarize them, without stealing their melody or their lyrics. Yeah, I know. I'm glancing over occasionally. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's right. We're in Michigan now. So Sam said he met Alex Karras twice as a kid. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he would be Greek. Yeah, Alex Karras. In fact, Karras is probably short for something, right? And I said, well, okay, if I were a lawyer, I would have gone, okay, so Marvin Gaye estate, the cowbell pattern is copyrightable, huh? So did you give the percussionist? Did Marvin Gaye give a percussionist a percentage of the publishing? Right? Because if you're saying it's a copyrighted material, like a melody or a lyric or a riff, then whoever created that should be given a percentage of the song, right? Of course, the answer is Marvin Gaye played the cowbell on it. And I'm like, damn it. It would have been like, I would have done the research before lawyers never ask questions they don't already know the answer to. Okay, just know that if you're ever being asked, if you're ever in deposition, know they already know the answer to the question they're about to answer. They're asking you. I mean, but a lawyer would know that. A lawyer wouldn't be as stupid as me and go, aha, I gotcha. Did you give the percussionist, because in my head I'm thinking session musicians. Did you give the percussionist? It's like, I gotta stay on tuning. The beat goes on was originally, that was what was written on the chart. And Carol Kay is playing bass and she goes, that's boring. No, it needs to be interesting. And she's also a good guitar player. So, she was kind of playing, it might have been bass 6 or a Fender bass. I think it was a Fender bass. Now, technically today, if she had done that, they would have given her a percentage. But back then, she got her, $80 session fee, and that was it. But that hook is Carol Kay. That's not Sonny and Cher. That's not, the producer was Phil Spector. That's not Phil Spector's idea. That was Carol Kay's idea. And so in my head, I was thinking, well, I gotcha. Who did the cowbell? Did you give him percentages? But of course they didn't. And Marvin Gaye pretty much played everything on that record. I think, or a lot of that, all those copyrightable things. So, percentage for the triangle. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're gonna, and they wouldn't have, right? That would have been one of those things where even today you wouldn't give a percussionist a percentage of a song for playing percussion on something. So that's why you would never say, they were trying, Pharrell and Robin Thicke. It was Robin Thicke. Alan Thicke was his dad. Robin Thicke was his son. They're trying to cure a fever. Yeah, blurred lines. Yeah, exactly. Somebody say the name of the song. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, John, the number of songs with cowbell in them. I mean, what's the hilarious SNL thing with Pharrell? Farrell. Not Steve Farrell. What's the comedian's name? Colin Farrell. No, there's a lot of Farrells. Pharrell. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. Trying to imitate Django Reinhardt with everyone steals in the music business. Okay, but there's a line that's drawn, and you don't steal. Like you don't, I can't think of a song, but Ticket to Ride. You don't steal the Ticket to Ride lick, or the riff, the guitar riff, or the Black Dog riff. You don't build a song around it unless you're going to give them credit. It's been done. Hip hop, that's kind of how hip hop works. They use they started out using records and playing, scratching and playing bits of songs and then looping those. And initially they didn't think they had to give credit. Initially, like, what was it? Every Breath You Take was used in a Luke Skywalker song, and so he was sued twice, once for stealing that and also by George Lucas. So, and I think ultimately Sting got 100% of the publishing on that song. So he makes, I think Andy Summers said he made for a while there he was making $2 million a year off that song. And it was actually Andy Summers' guitar part. It was his idea, I think, or something ridiculous. Part of the reason I think Andy was kind of mad at Sting. How does it work when someone records a cover? You don't need to get permission at all. Okay. I mean, let me rephrase that. You can record a cover. However, if you're going to release it, you need to go to Harry Fox. Okay, Harry Fox Agency here in Los Angeles. They probably have offices everywhere. I get money from Harry Fox every month. But I mean, I'm talking the most I've ever gotten is probably $40. Typically, it's $1, $2, $3, whatever. They just have my credit card, my bank account. And they just deposit it every month or every other month. Whenever it gets to a certain amount, I think I have it set to $25 or something like that. Anytime anyone does a cover of one of my songs that I co-wrote or wrote, then they have to. Now, so it's not horribly expensive. I don't remember. I mean, I think I've had friends that did cover records, and I had a friend that I played on it. He did like all Beatles songs, like 10 Beatles songs. And if you're going to release, like if you're going to print, back in the day where you're printing 1,000 copies, which is kind of the minimum, I think it was $88 per song, the song for the song. So, you got to, and that's called a mechanical royalty. If you do a cover, let's say you do a cover of Yesterday, which is one of the most covered Beatles songs, or is the most covered Beatles song. Let's say it's one of the most covered songs in the world. When that song airs on the radio, you don't get performance royalties for it. Paul McCartney and John Lennon do. Okay, so you really, I always felt bad for who was always something there to remind me, when they did, that was their big hit in the 80s. Naked Eye had that big hit, always something there to remind me. That was a Burt Bacharach song from the 60s. I think it was Dionne Warwick. So they had a giant hit, and they made the money. The Mechanicals, they made money off the album sales. And that was why a lot of times a lot of these bands, like in the 80s, did covers. They had one cover that would have a radio play, and then people would buy the album, and the album was garbage. And that's pretty much what brought about Napster and streaming and iTunes, was because people couldn't buy one song off an album because record companies wanted to sell you the whole album. And so they taunt you, and they make you think this record was great by releasing an amazing song, and then you buy the album and you're like, oh, I bought so many albums where it was like, oh gosh, I love this song, but every other song on the record is awful. It was so common in the 80s. All the one-hit wonders are that way. Otherwise, they'd be 5-hit wonders. So, hey, 47 likes. That's amazing. We're doing great. So, but the, yeah, I'm getting off on a lot of tangents, aren't I? Will Ferrell, thank you so much, Holly. Will Ferrell, the cowbell skit on the Blue Oyster Cult song. It's so good. It's such a great skit. And more cowbell, right? It became a total meme. It's like, in my head, that's almost the original meme. That's like the first meme. More cowbell. Yeah, one hit wonder. And so that was a problem. But if you do a cover, any money that's generated, so there's multiple monies that are generated from a song, and if it gets played a lot, say you get 1 million spins on Spotify, that would generate $7,000, and 2,000 of that's going to go to the writers and publishers of the song, which is the Paul McCartney and Northern songs and all that. So Paul McCartney's going to make 500 of that, and John Lennon Estate, Yoko's going to get 500, and then Northern songs is going to get 1,000, which is why Paul McCartney would love to be able to buy Northern songs back, but they won't sell it to him. And I think it's owned by Sony now, because Michael Jackson had it, but then he was bankrupt at the end, and part of his collateral was that he used was the Northern Songs catalog to Sony, who kept loaning him money. Like he was going through money before he died, like it was, I don't know, popcorn. And but I'm not sure where it all stands now. So, but Sony's got this catalog, and like they're not gonna sell it to anybody, let alone Paul McCartney. So. Yeah, Mal Evans Mal Evans also was like the alarm clock, right, on Day in the Life. You can hear Mal Evans say something at the end of Day in the Life. So there's $7,000 generated, 2,000 goes to the writers and publishers, 5,000 goes to the label. Well, if you release a song, you're the label. But some of that is mechanicals, and that has to also go to the Lennon and McCartney. So it works that way. And so if you did, let's say you did 10 Beatles songs on your record, then you have to write a check to Harry Fox for about $880, I think. Those numbers all may be different now, and it may not be exactly that, but my recollection was that it was something like $87 and change for 1,000 singles. If you're gonna print up, I'm 1,000 CD, 1,000 albums. If you're going to print up 10,000, or if you sell 10,000, if you sell more than 1,000, then you're going to have to do it again and again and again. So it's definitely interesting, and how that money, I get monies from Harry Fox, every month almost. Like I said, it's just pennies, a few dollars here, a few dollars there. But it's because somebody's recorded, Yellow Raincoat or ETA or, Home to Mama, or one of the songs that I wrote. Home to Mama is probably one of the most covered songs that I wrote with Justin. So I don't, there's other covers out there, but it's less common now. People are just putting stuff on YouTube, and even then, I think there's, they can't. Like I said, I may get flagged on this, and this video, the royalties from this video may go to the David Bowie estate because he wrote Rebel Rebel. But I don't think Spirit in the Sky. I don't think, Spirit in the Sky is a pretty big, one hit wonder. Biggest one hit wonders. There were a lot of them in the 80s, but there were a lot of them in the 60s and 70s. Rick Dees had a one hit with Disco Duck. It's hard. Actually, I have a friend, I hate to call him a one-hit wonder because it's a little bit of a slur, really, in the music business. But Capital Cities, Safe and Sound, that song was freaking huge. It was a hit here in LA on K-Rock, which is the alternative rock station, Kiss FM, which is the top 40 station, the pop station, and Star 98, which is kind of the hybrid station. And Safe and Sound by Capital Cities, I know where they recorded it. Alex's band practiced at they had a recording studio / rehearsal studio that they rented out in Glendale. And they bought a house in Pasadena with the money from this, so I don't feel bad for them. The song was used by Mazda for their ad campaign for at least a year, and because that's a great notion. Safe and Sound is a kind of a great notion for a car ad, right? They're Armenian, and I think the song was actually about the Turkish Armenian, the genocide, and the original video was really dark, and they didn't know it was going to be a big hit, the song, so they ended up doing a second video, which was a little more safer, a little less, a little more MTV friendly, so to speak. Hey, Rich, what's going on? Well, I've already passed the song. Oh, what happened to the verse of this song? It's the verses and the choruses are the same riff. The B section, the bridge is just A to D, B minor, or B5 to E. Udayan's in the house too. Hey, how's it going? Udayan. Mel Evans was dealing with the cops and stuff. Yeah. Yes, he died in Los Angeles. He was shot by cops in L.A. Yep. Did he have a rifle in his hand though, or something? He was high too, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I forget. It was kind of a weird situation. Oh, the band, the Verve. Oh, the Verve. Oh, yes. Was it the Verve or the Verve Pipe? And that was another one where they stole that string. Was they the ones that stole the string line from the Rolling Stones, and they sampled it. And that was early in the whole sampling thing. Like I said, when I do a song with a major label, they make me sign paperwork that I'm not sampling anything, either electronically sampling something or playing it on guitar or sampling something. They make me sign paperwork so that if I'm lying, they can go, well, he lied. sue him, not us. So, um, Bittersweet Symphony, yeah, that's right. That was, yeah, I felt bad for them because that song was was a big hit for them, especially on alternative radio. Um, and I don't know. I'm looking it up on Wikipedia right now. Did they end up having to give up all their songwriters? Well, see, it says Richard Ashcroft. It's based on a sample from the Andrew Loog Oldham orchestral cover of the Rolling Stones songs "The Last Time." So they took a sample from involved some legal controversy. As a result, Keith Rich were added to songwriting credits, and all royalties of the song went to former Rolling Stone manager Alan Klein. Oh my gosh, you're kidding! Alan Klein got the. In 2019, Jagger and Richard ceded their rights to the song to the Verve songwriter Richard Ashcroft. God bless him, because Alan Klein must have died. So he died in 2009. Alan Klein was a piece of work. He was kind of, and he was part of the reason for the Beatles breakup. Alan Klein was, because I think Paul wanted Linda's family to manage the Beatles, and the rest of the Beatles wanted Alan Klein, because Alan Klein was kind of a smooth talker, and that was the end of it. Josh Flagg, what's going on? Yeah, I'm still on, huh? I've been on for 2 hours now. Yeah, Bittersweet Symphony is a great song, and so I'm glad that he's making royalties now. But that didn't start until 2019, so maybe stream the crap out of that song for the guy, because it's really cool. Because I look it up, it says on the Wikipedia page, it says songwriter is Richard Ashcroft. And he did, this was originally when it came out, it was 97. That was kind of, like I said, that was kind of the hip hop era, beginning of the hip hop, and where everybody was sampling things, and they didn't really think that was an issue. And then now, and for the last 20 plus years, you've had to write down, you have to tell them what you're sampling, and you have to give credit. So that's why you'll see a lot of times on songs, you'll see, Burt Bacharach credited on a song because they used something from it, or it's funny because I was talking to there was a kind of an what's it called a discussion forum kind of thing, where there was a guy that was the music clearance guy from Disney, and he was the head guy at Disney, and his job was to clear songs. And what that means is, to use a song in a movie or a TV show or something like that, the production company has to get permission from all the writers. I think Congress passed a law, which some people were opposed to. I was in favor with. I'm fine with it. That they only have to get 51% of the writers and publishers' approval to use a song. So if somebody has 10%, they can't quelch it for, they can't squash it for everybody else. And I agree with that, because any song I've ever written and co-written, I'm fine with anybody using, because I want to make as much money off it as I can. I asked him in this forum, I said, so what's the smallest, because this is before that law passed, what's the smallest percentage you've ever had to clear? And he went, oh my gosh. He goes, he had to clear 0.05% of a song one time. There was they had the whole song approved, everybody was signed on to it, but except for 0.05%, they couldn't find the guy. There was no estate, he hadn't died, they just didn't know where he was. And I said, how does someone have 0.05% of a song? And this is, they might have used this example as, they were clearing it for some Disney movie. And this might have been used as an example for the reason why Congress changed the rules on it, or I don't know if they actually changed them yet or not. I know they were talking about it. It may be still up in the air, but I said, how does someone have 0.05% of a song? And he goes, well, he said, the song that we were wanting to clear had a sample of a song. okay, that this guy owned 0.5% of. Okay, still that's a really small. Yeah, but that song was a sample had a sample in it of another song that this guy had 5% of. And I go, oh. He goes, yeah, this guy was a 5% credited writer of a song that was sampled in another song. And he said the crazy part about it, percentage that guy contributed to the first song wasn't even in the sample that they used in the third song. So he didn't really contribute anything to the third song, but his playing or his contribution of 5% was in, and that's a pretty, even from way back when, that's a pretty rare percentage. But apparently the guy was homeless. They couldn't find him anywhere, and he was older, and but it wasn't that. It was like, he was like, the song was from the 70s or something like that, and then in the 90s somebody sampled it, and then in the 2000s somebody sampled this 90s song, and it's just like, wow. And every time, so if you've got 50% of a song that's uses a sample, then the typical attribution is 10%. So if they're going to sample a song, it depends. If you're taking the entirety of the song and replacing the melody or something, but you're taking the guitars and everything, it might be higher, but it's typically 10%. So if you own 50% of a song and it's sampled in another song, then you get 5% of that other song, as well as 50% of the first song. But if that gets sampled again, now you're down to, went from 50% to 5% to 0.5%. Well, this guy had 5% to begin with. It went down to 0.5 and then 0.05. and I said, did you ever clear it? He goes, yeah, we finally cleared it. So it was like, I don't know, maybe it was one of those things where, in that scenario, it might be better to ask for forgiveness than permission. If the guy is unfindable, Evans picked up an air rifle and struggled with his friend Hughes, who the police and told that Evans was confused and doped up and groggy. They ordered him to put down the gun, but he refused. Yeah, see, you can't blame the cops in that situation. And it's hard to tell. I think it was in a stairwell, right? I think it was in a stairwell. Hard to tell with a light, and if it's dark and it's a stairwell and the distance, tell if it's an airsoft or, I've been hit by an airsoft gun, and it hurts Dickens, and it left a welt, but it didn't break my skin. But so the cops, if they knew it was an airsoft gun, then I would have a problem with them shooting. But if they didn't know it was an airsoft or air rifle, then my dad, did he have an air rifle? No, that was a 22. My dad had a 22 that he used to pick off squirrels that were climbing on the bird feeder. So, when I was a kid. See you later, Bruce. I'm sure Bruce is already gone. But anyway, yeah. So the songwriting thing, doing the covers, totally can do covers. It's not a problem. But if you're going to release something or put it up on YouTube, put it up on YouTube. You may just not be able to monetize it. I don't think you need to go to Harry Fox to put a song up on YouTube or to do a cover on YouTube. No, nobody does that. I'm sure of it, because it's just too much. Basically they'll snag it and they'll take your royalties from it. So I, so far, teaching these songs, haven't gotten, because I don't teach songs normally on YouTube. I've never uploaded a song lesson, except songs that I was a co-writer on. And even those, I think I didn't get to keep, because if I played the recording of them, I think I did a lesson for Yellow Raincoat. It's actually one of my most popular videos, but I don't think I even monetized it because I didn't want to have that issue. I probably could now. I should look and see if it flagged it. I can't remember. Yeah, if you're going to do covers, chances are they may get a copyright flag. And all that means is, as long as you don't dispute it and say, no, I really wrote the song, and lie, then it doesn't hurt you at all. It just means you can't, there's going to be ads on there, and the money's not going to be going to you. And so, however, if it generates subscribers, say you do a cover and it's really, really popular on YouTube, Then you could do other songs on your channel of original songs, or where you're talking, or behind the scenes, or whatever, the making of, or whatever. And those, as long as the song's not being played, you can monetize those and collect that money. That's what people do. I have a girl that I work with, and she will, for every song that we record, she may do 3 videos. She may do an audio video, a lyric video, and then also a video of her singing it, or a rock video, and then she may do a behind the scenes video, or the making of video. And so she may do 3 videos: a lyric video, a singing video where she's performing it, and then a third video kind of behind the scenes. And that way she can kind of monetize the credit, because she's paying me to track guitars or write or whatever. And that way she can kind of monetize all of that. So how do you get that E jump into the descending 6 up to speed? Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. And that I said that at the beginning of this lesson. I said that's the hardest part of the song. And I don't want it to ring out if possible. I could have put a little dot over it, which would have meant staccato. Like that. What I would do, Peroni, I would just practice doing that. Hit the low E and hit that C sharp. So I'm playing that C sharp, 2nd fret, 2nd finger, 2nd string. And just go back and forth. Oh yeah, right. Like I'm going to show you a Guthrie Govan song. I know Guthrie. I've met him a couple times, usually at the NAMM show or something. That guy is a freak of nature. He's insane at country and metal and jazz, and like he can do Django stuff. The guy is a freak. I think he's on tour with. Is he doing the Hans Zimmer thing this tour? Because my friend Tina Guo plays cello with Hans Zimmer, and I'm muting. Well, I'm kind of muting it with both my palm and the thumb. I get the thumb. If you can get the thumb around, I don't need them. But that's where the rubber meets the road in this song. So that's a pure. You can even, if you want, you can make up a study where you go. I should do a lesson on it. But I'm plucking down and up. Again, it's a kind of economy picking, because normally that would be an upstroke on the and this would be a downstroke on the down. But that would be economy picking. I'm picking down in the direction of the string and then up in the direction of the next hit. So just practice that. You can even start with the 6th and 5th string, go to the 6th and 4th string, go to the 6th and the 3rd string, because that's a skill that's going to come in real handy. FON. Oh, is that what FON? I didn't know. I've never heard that. Freaking nature. Yeah. Guthrie Govan makes me want to quit playing guitar. Just so you know, Ultimate. He is amazing. He is sick. I've seen him live a couple times too at like NAMM show things and stuff. And a nice guy, super nice guy, and pretty darn humble too. I mean, but he's funny though, because I think if I remember, he was like, "Oh yeah, no, you just do this," and he's like, I'm like, "You just do what now?" Yeah. And I'm actually, my plan is on Wednesday, I'm interviewing my friend Joe DeBlasi. And so I'm going to edit that together. I may turn it into a 2-part thing. It depends on how long we talk. But he's a session guitar player. Just post Wrecking Crew. But Tommy Tedesco gave him his career. And he'll say that in the interview, because he's a super nice, super humble guy and a great guitar player, phenomenal reader. Like I've seen music in front of him that I'm like, okay, give me a day. And he's like sight reading it first time perfect with feeling. I'm like, God, how you do that? But just years and years and years of doing TV shows and movies, decades of playing on TV shows and movies in front of orchestras and stuff like that. So that's one of the, hey, I got 50 likes. That's one of the, probably maybe my next video. I'm still trying to come up with 7 tips. I got 6 tips. I need one more tip for older beginners. And so I'm gonna, I'm almost there. I just got to come up with more good idea that I can, and that video will be a little more produced. I'll probably do it in 7 segments, like, because I'll be changing guitars and changing maybe even locations for that video. Yeah. So Ferroni, does that help you? Does that help you with that? Yeah, homework. Just down, up. Swing it. See. If it were a swing tune, you could totally boom, the horn. Do it with a big band. Yeah, so that's again, it's all about the snippets, right, Holly? All about the snippets. You turn a where are you struggling? Where you're struggling on that is going from that low E string, plucking that string, and plucking the second string. Going from the 6th string to the 2nd string. It's very difficult. Like I said, when I started this video, I say from the get-go, that's the hardest part of the song right there. So it's natural for you to struggle with it. But if you just practice those 2 notes back and forth, it's what I talk about in my 7 tips for older beginners. I say, look, maximize your time, and you may not need to work on the whole lick. The whole lick you may have down. It's just that moment that you're always messing up there, or you're hesitating, and then you get out of, then you lose a half a beat or something. No, so just work that. And literally, we've got 8 beats here, right? Those 2 eighth notes equal 1 beat. So you're shaving the time of working on something by 85%, okay? So you're just working on the one thing you're having problems with. Now, you may have problems with the whole thing. That's different. But once you start to get the song down, the hardest part you'll notice is going from that low E note and muting it, however you mute it, whether it be with your thumb or your left hand or your palm of your right hand, or both, kind of how I do it. There's a little bit of a nuance. If you listen to it, it's kind of, it sounds like that note's almost an afterthought, but it's a legitimate part of the lick, okay? Story time. Have I not been telling stories all this time? I told the story about Marvin Gaye. Yeah, there you go. Don't give up guitar when you hear something with that. You know what, Barry? Steve, that's not a bad one. Because when you're a beginner, everyone's better than you. That actually could be the 7th one. Just don't give up. Just don't quit. Keep going. That's not a bad one. Okay, I can add that to my list here. Let me see. I've got it on my phone because I wanted to have it in my notes because I wanted to. Yeah, just don't quit. Just do it. Simple as that. Thank you. Thank you, Holly. Let's see. Oh, we got another one up there too. The heck? Thank you, Holly. Any other questions? So story time. I told you about my pool. That wasn't really a story though. I'm trying to think of a story. Well, here's the thing. I know some great Joe DeBlasi stories, and I'm going to get him to tell them in the interview. I don't want to say them now because I want him to say them because it's funny. But he's got great stories about Tommy Tedesco, so I'll probably have him tell at least one of those. If he just keeps going and going and going, then I'm probably going to let him do it. Joe, just to give you an example of some of the stuff that Joe's, and there's one thing that he played on that I'm not going to talk about now because we're going to talk about hopefully on Wednesday. But so he's a session guy, right? Kind of came up in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, 90s. And so I found a list. He's not on IMDb, which is really weird because I got hundreds of credits on IMDb, but his IMDb, nobody's really done it for him, and so it's not happened. But let's see. So movies that he's played on: Independence Day, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Beaches, Karate Kid, Lady Hawk. Trying to think. Buck Rogers. I don't know what that is. Officer and a Gentleman. Yeah, I'm gonna actually fix this so it's like concise. Get rid of some of the ones that. Bad Medicine. Do you know that song or movie? Bad Medicine. Was that? I don't remember that one. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is definitely. Beaches. Best of Time. Karate Kid. This is a well-known one. Okay, so these are some of the Big Fix. Oh yeah, Big Fix. Yeah, I remember that one. That was a pretty big movie, right? Lady Hawk was big. I don't know. Big Wednesday. Last Plane from Boulevard Nights. Loverboy, Breathless, Next Kin, New Kids. Bunch of these I don't know. Officer and Gentleman, definitely. So those are just a few. Continental Divide, Omen 2, Rocky 1, Rocky 3, Somewhere in Time, Firefox, Stripes, Summersby, Ghostbusters. I mean, he played on a lot of movies, okay? And his secondary check is probably pretty nice. I won't ask him that. TV shows, a lot of TV specials, Tom Jones, Joan Rivers, Donna Summers, Dick Clark anniversary stuff. 33 and a third anniversary. I remember that. TV shows, Bionic Woman, MASH, Quantum Leap, Dukes of Hazzard, Quincy, Fame, Scarecrow and Mrs. King, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Switch, Golden Girls, Happy Days, Knots Landing, Vegas, Laverne and Shirley, Wonder Woman, LA Law, Love Boat, Young and Restless. I mean, come on. It's just nonstop. Did a bunch of Tonight Show stuff, too. Artists he's worked with, Burt Bacharach, Bill Conti, Charo. He's done a lot of stuff for Charo. Produced a lot of Charo records. Dinah Ross, Marilyn McCoo, Billy Davis, Melissa Manchester, Christopher Cross, Michael McDonald, Dionne Warwick, Peebo Bryson, Frank Sinatra, Phil Spector, Chicago. I'll have some questions for him about Phil Spector and maybe about George Benson as well, and Phil Collins, Paul Anka, Juice Newton, Bette Midler. Yeah, he's got a great Bette Midler story I'm going to get him to tell. So this is what I'm looking forward to Wednesday. Hopefully it happens. We both had conflicts in the past. We've both canceled once each. So hopefully we'll do it. The Sting, yeah. The Entertainer did I say The Entertainer? I don't think that was one of them, Joseph. Oh, I see. You're talking about something else. Okay, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you could totally do that. You could play with it. You could play the riff too. You could do. I don't know. I mean, you could kind of turn it into a fingerstyle thing too. You could even use your fingers if you want to thumb and or hybrid picking, which is hybrid picking is. I mean, there's essentially three types of picking. Okay, there's pick with a pick, picking. There's finger picking with your fingers, and there's hybrid, which is pick and fingers. Country players use that a lot. I don't use it very much. Alex uses it more than I do. I will play and sometimes grab stuff with my ring finger or something, but I don't do it very often. March 18th, really, 2020. Oh. Bob, did Bob say that? Barada ba 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 ba. I'm glad this is the highlight of your week, but man, you must have a really boring week if I'm the highlight of it. But thank you. It means a lot. Uh, oh, if you could get an interesting player for a live stream interview, might attract some new subs. Well, yeah, and Joe, there's one story that I can't tell you right now. We're going to talk about. We'll talk. It's pretty amazing. That I won't want to talk about now because I'm going to save that for when I release the video. And if he's willing to talk about it, it could bring in a lot of new subscribers to my channel. And I do have other people that I could interview. I've got some tech people. I've got like James Santiago, who worked at Voodoo Lab and Line 6 and now is at Universal Audio. I could interview him. I would need to do a lot of research, but I could also interview Chris Trainer, who's the guitar player for Bush, who's a friend of mine. I think it would be great to interview him. I'd also have to do a lot of research on Bush because I'm not very familiar with their catalog. So if the Joe DeBlasi, which he's older guy, he's older than me, he's still doing music for a living. It's not like he's retired or anything like that. But he Joe, most people don't know who he is, which is kind of the point. I kind of like highlighting him because you don't realize how much of what's been done is behind the scenes. In fact, that's a question. And that may come up in the thing I can't tell you, but I'm going to add that to my list of questions here. Has he ever technically written it would be part maybe of this segment, third segment, but have you ever written an uncredited hook? Because see, when I write, I'm very, very late to the game. Okay, I moved out here in '82 and really didn't get or '83. I didn't really get going until my career didn't get going until I did some cool stuff in the late '90s, but not like major artistic kind of cool. Didn't really get going until the late 2000s. Literally, people say, "Oh, I said, are you willing to wait 25 years for your career to show up?" I mean, the only thing that allowed me to have a career was the fact that I didn't quit. So, I knew a couple people from my hometown that came out around the same time I did, and they were back in Indiana within 6 months. They gave up 6 months because I think in both cases they were married, and so that's a whole nother thing. When you're bringing a family or a wife out, a spouse out, and you're trying to start from scratch and you don't know anyone. I mean, I knew, not only did I not know anyone, I didn't know how to know anyone. I didn't know how the business worked, and I had crap for gear. So I didn't deserve to be out here by any stretch. It was ridiculous for me to come out here. And now the question is, if I could talk to my old self, go back in time and talk to myself, would I tell me not to move here? Well, I met my wife here, and my kids are all born here, and I've made a lot of great friends, and I've had a great time, and it's been fun to be part of the industry. Now I am part of it, but would I give myself some tips? Maybe. Definitely. So, Richard Smith, the guitar player? Richard Smith. Hold on, I'm going to pull that up real quick. I'm going to have to mute though. Richard Smith. I want to see if it's the same Richard Smith, the entertainer. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no. There's a fingerstyle guy. That's not the guy I know. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that. It's insane. Yeah. No, I've seen that. I know another Richard Smith. He was the head of the guitar department at USC. He's the one that got me an interview with the dean of the School of Music at USC. And the dean offered me a job to create a master's degree program. I've talked about this being the best interview in the history of mankind. I was supposed to talk about teaching one clinic, like a 3 hour clinic, and he ended up at the end of the meeting. He offered me a full-time position in teaching, a full-time tenured position, creating a master's degree program at USC School of Music. So it's like, that's a good meeting. I didn't do it, but pretty crazy. Didn't happen. Let's put it that way. Oh yeah, Johnny Highland's freaking insane. Yeah, there's yeah. Again, yeah. I think your suggestion. Who was it? What was it? Oh, Steve Barry. Yeah. Don't give up your guitar when you hear someone better than you. Yeah. Don't give up. Yeah. Yeah. There's always someone better than you. It's like playing tennis. You only get better when you play with people that are better than you. You know, when I play Alex, I get worse. Alex, are you watching? I haven't played tennis, though, in 6 months because I got tennis elbow last time we played. And Alex beat me for the first time 6-0, 6-0. And I'm trying really hard to tell him it's not because, that it's not the tennis elbow. Because that's not fair to him. He beat me fair and square. And, he's getting close so many times. And it's just a matter of time because he's young. He's got young legs. I'm still fairly fast. I swear, I could probably run 10 yards faster than the fastest person in the world at one point in my life. I could cover a court. I could get any shot. I may not hit a winner. I may not even hit it over the net, but I could get to anything. It was really hard to hit a shot past me back in my 20s and 30s. I don't know what it was. I could run just a very short distance very quick. But that I don't have anymore. And in fact, there was a mentality. I remember it was like a you're getting old marker where your brain says don't even bother. You want to, but your brain's going, yeah, no. So you just let it be a winner. You let them hit a winner, and then you change your strategy. And tennis is really all about, kind of like guitar in some ways. It's about preparing. Like if you go out of court, like if you go far to the right to hit a shot, as soon as you hit that shot, you go center yourself again, right? You get yourself back in the center of the court so for their return. Or if you hit a shot where there's a like 90% chance they're going to have to hit it, they don't have a choice, but they're going to have to hit it over here, then you run to that spot. Just decades of knowing, it's like pool shots, decades of knowing the possibilities of return shots can help you set up for that shot. And so I found that I got better at predicting where someone was going to hit, and I didn't have to be as fast. So part of the problem with being fast on the tennis court is you would just kind of get lazy and stand wherever. As I got slower, and as my brain said, don't bother, I learned to center myself a lot. And, you always, whenever you're not sprinting for a shot, you're always keeping your feet facing facing forward. So you're running like this, right? You're not running like this. You're not turning and running like this. You're trying to run with facing the shot at all times. So, yeah. When I see a 6-year-old shredder, I've never seen one of those 6-year-old shredders have a career when they got older. Even the blues, like the kids that are 13, 14 years old, and they're playing like amazing blues guitar or whatever, and they become modestly famous, or they go on tour with B.B. King or whatever. It's like in their 30s and 40s, it's like being a child prodigy doesn't generally result in a career. Oh, nice. I don't know Bob Summers, Mary Ford. Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, so the difference between being a shredder, which is completely unmarketable, except for YouTube, and I mean, a lot of the shredders, like a lot of the guys that the fingerstyle guys that do the tapping and everything, they make a lot of money with their YouTubes, maybe touring a little bit and everything like that. In my head, I'm not. It's like I like being able to work in lots of different. I like my days to be different. If I had to tour and do the same songs every day, I think it would drive me crazy. Um, there are the fingerstyle guys that are phenomenal musicians. Don't get me wrong, but there's some guys that are one trick ponies, and there's some kids that are kind of like, oh, they nailed the Van Halen thing. Yeah, congratulations. But can you create the thing that Van Halen created? Can you create a riff band that sells, 100 million records? No, they can't. That's, you can copy anybody can copy anybody. But can you be the one that thought of it in the first place? That's unbelievably rare. Not even a millionth of the population. Well, maybe a millionth of we got 330 million people in America. There are 330 people that can create. So it's more common than a millionth, maybe 1/10,000th or something. But there are people there that have it and don't know it. That's the sad part. People there that could have been created something. They could have been the next Van Halen, but they never picked up a guitar. Or the next Van Gogh, and they never picked up a paintbrush. Isn't that crazy? A lot of this is tenacity. I think that's a common, for me, certainly my career is based on tenacity. Sorry for asking, but can you do a video lessons to play songs and improvisations from the battle with Petrucci? No. Please, there's so much less videos on his songs, and he is so underrated. John Petrucci, you talking about? Tosin, I don't know who that is. Sorry for asking, but can you do video, the songs and improvisation from the battle with, Tosin is Japanese, right? I'm going to open this up and look for it, but I have no idea what that is. And I doubt that I could come close to even transcribing. My days of transcribing stuff, tapping. Oh, that, okay. Tapping bossa. Yeah, yeah. I see Rick Beato talk to him. I remember that guy. Yeah, no, that's insane. Blues Jam Saturday got to go. Unbelievable. Yeah, yeah. It's not my thing. I'm not a shredder. I'm not a flashy player. It's funny because Van Halen sucks. Well, he does now, but he was pretty amazing. He created something that didn't exist. He was very imitated. You can tell how good someone is when you have so many people imitate him. I mean, he launched 1,000 guitar careers. People just imitating him and coming up with their own version of it. Guthrie, go in. Yeah, I just don't know enough about those guys to really be able to contribute, to do anything with it. See, okay, I'm gonna have to pause this. But,
Hi.
Who is that? I see. It's this guy. Okay. All right. Yeah, I wish I could do more things like that. It's just not like I said, my forte. All right. So I better go. And oh my gosh, it's almost been 3 hours, people. I can't believe you hung out. Well, we've definitely dwindled down. Where is? Oh, here it is. Sorry, I lost you. There you are. All right. Oh, Bruce is back. Bruce is like, Tom, you're still on? All right, so I'm gonna take off. Oh, okay, that was a Bob Summer song. I didn't know that. And so next week, I don't know when I'll post the Joe DeBlasi interview. Hopefully we'll do it on Wednesday. We're planning on doing, getting together Wednesday and doing it. I don't know when I'll post that, because if if it ends up being a long video, I might do two, part one and part two. If I get like an hour out of them of usable footage, I may do like 30-minute videos, because otherwise sitting through an hour would be a lot. And those might be my next two videos released. I may do the 7 tips video next. I've got some other tuning stuff that I might do. And then, yeah, and as far as next week's song, my goal is to come up with an acoustic one. So I've got to think of a good acoustic song that's not too hard. That's why I won't be doing any Guthrie Govan or anything like that, because all that stuff's impossible. We could do like a half a measure of a Guthrie Govan song. That's like, he would play this many notes in a one beat. So it's not gonna happen. So I'm not sure what we'll, I'll figure it out, and we may get to a fingerstyle song. At some point, maybe next week it'll be Dust in the Wind. But at some point we're gonna do Dust in the Wind, mainly to get that picking pattern down. And there's 2 ways to do it. So I'm not sure which way. I have to watch some videos and see if I can figure out which way they did it. It was probably Carrie Livgren that wrote it, I think. No, I can't remember. I read about it and I can't remember now. But I can look and maybe watch some videos and see if I can get a close-up of his hand to see how he actually figured it. Because there's a Travis pattern, but did he do it Travis style with the thumb bouncing around, or did he do it classical guitar style with a finger assigned to each string? And then it's basically that throughout, but there's 3 or 4 sections of different chord progressions using the pattern and moving the thumb and fingers around. So it's not easy. It's not a song I was ever able to teach in one lesson. Let's put it that way. Unless it was a student that was really good at reading tab, and I could just give, because I had the tab written out for it at one point, where I just made copies. And if I'd done that, then if they were good enough, I could send them home with it and they would work it out. But for the most part, it was at least a 2-lesson video, or two lesson song. But Travis pattern is a very usable pattern even to this day. I've even got pop songs out that are using the Travis pattern. So it's a very good pattern to have down. You can do some research on it. I've already done videos on it. We've talked about it in the live stream before. You can even look at the live stream when we talked about the Travis pattern. Again, it's very, very tough to teach that this way. I almost really need to be face-to-face with you. So the Boxer, yeah, that's got a good Travis pattern. That's a great song. Okay, another Capo song, right? Yeah, so again, there's some iconic acoustic guitar songs that are like, yeah, but that's a 2 or 3 lesson. That might be, and I'm trying to find songs that I can teach you in one sit down, and that you can sit down and play pretty quickly and play at a campfire, with your friends this summer. Because that's, to me, seriously, I'm a professional guitar player. I've gotten to do some amazing things. I've played in front of hundreds of thousands of people before, and I've played on TV and movies and things like that. And the most fun I ever have playing guitar is sitting around with friends on a campfire and singing songs. Still the most fun you'll ever have on a guitar, in my opinion. And so it's just that is a worthy goal. And if that inspires you to get better and work hard at it and become a pro, great. But for a lot of us, it's just like, that's totally attainable. And like I said, even if you became a professional musician, you're probably going to have more fun doing that than the pressures of being a pro. So Greensleeves, yeah, Landslide. You know what? Landslide's a great one. Let me add that to the list, because Greensleeves isn't a bad one either. The only thing with Greensleeves is, it's so old. And YouTube ideas. Is it on my YouTube ideas? I don't know what thing I put it on here. Let's see. Oh, that's probably this. No, not this one. Dang it. Okay. Oh. Okay, sorry. I was reading a suggestion from Steve. Where the heck is... Bum, 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 bum. Where the heck is the... Oh, live stream ideas. There it is. Okay, sorry. I couldn't find the thing. Landslide. I don't have that here, no. So I've done Rebel Rebel now. So I can cross that out. Yeah, Landslide's a good one. And I recently taught that to Emma, so I may have the tab already for it. Because I do teach my daughter a lesson every Sunday night. I should live stream that. And I have to turn off comments though, because I wouldn't. Yeah, Scarborough Fair, yeah, that's a good one too. It's kind of a classic acoustic one. The nice thing, although, about Landslide is it's 70s and has been pseudo recently covered in 2000 or 90s. So you know the younger people might know that from the covers, and not so much from the original. Although the original is freaking amazing. It's a pretty simple song. So Scarborough Fair is a great song, yeah. And that's also capable. I'm trying to think of how is that? How does Scarborough? Is it like also? I can't remember. It's something like that. It's a beautiful. Paul Simon's a really good guitar player. He really is. He came up with some great hooks in the day. So that, you know, it's one thing to be a good guitar player. Anybody can learn to play a Paul Simon song. But a very small fraction of the population could create something like that everybody wants to learn how to play, right? That's a whole different thing. You know, to say Van Halen sucks, whoever that was, you know, that's silly. It's silly. Van Halen didn't suck. I think it's just a troll trying to get a reaction. So that's what 13-year-olds tend to do. So anyway, I am going to take off so many songs. Yeah, so many songs. But I'm going to shoot for an acoustic song next week. The one song I was going to teach today that I swapped out Rebel Rebel for, I may teach in 2 weeks. We'll see. I don't know. It's a nice tune. It wasn't. I'm sure you know it. It may almost be a meme song in some ways. I've seen it used as a meme song on TikTok. so you know, but it's a nice song, and it's a song that you could totally do at a campfire on acoustic. It's an electric song, but it's a very acoustic electric song. It's played on electric, but it's open chords. So. Something by James Taylor. Yeah, again, James Taylor is one of those things where there's so many mechanics. Think about this. This was 2 bars. And think about how much complexity I talked about. And again, I make it more complex than it really is, but I'm trying to teach you stuff about music theory or technique or along the way. But like, let's see, what is it? I gotta get tighter. Do I have the right capo handy? There's 47 techniques in the first 4 bars of, you know. Oh, so Bob, it's not okay. I'll change it back to the 49. I was wondering because was it you that said it was 50? So you're changing your tune here? Okay, back to 249. All right, because I knew the last one was 248, but maybe I didn't change it, you know, along the way. So yeah, and Ronald, you know, James Taylor's great. I also love Shower the People. There's some great songs. actually, when I taught bass players, I would always teach, whenever I see your smiling face. That's a great bass line. I mean, I could just teach you the bass line. Yeah, it's an E. Whenever I see your smiling face, I have to smile myself, because I love. Yeah, it's like boom, boom, and that is undoubtedly my friend Leland Sklar, Lee Sklar, who I know, and I've actually done a gig or two with, and he's a character, man. He has millions of stories, and he would be a good interview. It would probably turn political, which I don't want to do on my channel. So Mexico's a really nice. I did Mexico with an artist named Fernando Ortega back in the '80s at a show. It was one of his favorite songs. He loved James Taylor songs, so I did a show with him where I think he did where he did all original music except 3 James Taylor songs. So I got up on stage for the 3 James Taylor songs. So I had to learn all of those. Yeah, Fire and Rain is Capo 3. Yeah, and it's it defies keys because it has a G and it has G minor and it has it could be multiple keys. It has a B flat in it, but it also has I don't think so. Yeah, Scarborough Fair is pretty slow. You're right. Scarborough Fair is not too fast of a riff. Dust in the Wind is kind of in that range too, tempo wise, doable. A lot of you probably already know it, so it'd be redundant. But again, if you already know it, I'm going to try to teach you something about music theory or about how they came up with the song or whatever. There's something about Dust in the Wind that I really like pointing out, and I won't do it now. I'll do it if I teach it. So, your mistake. That's fine. Oh, the riffs. Oh, Fire and Rain riff. Yeah. A lot of people want to take lessons for that. I taught that to a million students. Yep. Catch you next week. I should sign off. I'm going to just keep chit chatting if I can't. I got to get some work done. So anyway, God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. And next week I'll see you. Maybe I'll have a new video up. I don't know. I've got to do some work this week on some other things, so I'm not sure if I'll have time to do a video for my YouTube channel. Oh yeah, Lee. I see. When I lived in Pasadena, I would see Lee sometimes walking his dog. So